cybersecurity assistant professor at St. John's in Queens, New York. I hold about 8 degrees right now, 8 advanced degrees and 2 in doctoral degrees. So I'm blending a lot of the different research and the different domains together, which brought me here.
And you're here for something with a bit of a big different topic, is that correct?
Yes. So one of my degrees is in data visualization.
Yeah.
I studied at Parsons School of Design in Manhattan, and I really like the data visualization program because it blends mathematics, as we heard this morning, and AI, and data, and creativity and visualization, which is a very unusual blend of different topics. And ethics. They're very strong on the ethical component of data use. So I've really enjoyed the work at Parsons, and one of that was working with the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Wow.
They made a lot of the museums around the world are moving some of their data to become public and open source.
Yeah.
And I believe it was around 2017 that the Metropolitan created some open source data. And that was around the time that we were working at Parsons at the beginning, at the get-go. And so we developed some visualizations of the open source data set. So that was a lot of fun. And then some of the ideas I've learned through data visualization I've also brought into the cybersecurity space and looking at data breaches and ways to represent some of these things that haven't been done yet. So it's been really a wonderful experience at Parsons, and that's what I'm sharing here today is some of the work that came out of that research.
Okay, can you tell some of the results?
Yes, of course. Well, I don't know how many open data sets there currently are at the Met. I'd say there's, tens of thousands.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things that we had to look at are some of these challenges of looking at some of the data quantitatively and qualitatively and developing things for like mobile applications. So it was really interesting. You have all of this data, you have all the metadata of the data. So there's all this, ways to look at the problems. And the data visualization that we had to do was not using templates. So we had to come up with something that was, telling a story about the data, but without using sort of a get-go box, drop it in, you get a standard mold come out. So some of the interesting things, I looked at the things that are in the public domain.
Mm-hmm.
So the Metropolitan has a lot of data that's in the public domain. You're free to look at it. There are some ethical, you can't just do anything with it, but you're able to visualize it and things like that. And I particularly looked at Albrecht Dürer because there was hundreds of pieces in the Metropolitan Museum of Art as well as around the world, and built some of his biography. So some of the data that's in there and matching that to his biography that I found through books and through the, I think it's Wikipedia, the open source. Yeah.
Sure.
So blending all of this open data, giving credit to where it came from, but trying to tell stories about the data that you can't really see in a line graph or a histogram, but yet using some of those principles in some places to help tell us the story. So yeah, it was really interesting to see what kinds of data, what kinds of like paintings he has and drawings and where they are located in the world. And specifically what was actually housed at the Met and other things. So I actually juxtaposed it with other pieces in the Met of the same time frame that he existed in, so you can see, kind of get a sense of what's going on around the world while he is doing his
And it's all
things.
visually represented.
Yeah, it's all visually. It's up on a website. We've published it to GitHub. It's free. People can go look at it. I took snapshots of some of the visualizations. It was many, many iterations to get to where we are. There's a lot more work that could be done. It's never.
Will you do that as well?
Yes, hopefully at some point that would be great. I noted it in the paper, some of the future work, and so somebody else might take the ball and keep running. But there's so many other artists in the Met that deserve equal representation. So there's a lot of work to be done, and there's a lot of other museums. Amsterdam Museum, the British Museum, has open data set that's there.
So hopefully somebody will take it and use it in the same way. Oh, who knows?
Yes.
Suzanna, this conference is in London. You had to fly in.
Yes.
What happened?
Yes, some flight delays, but I was so thankful to the app. You folks have put everything, the app, the keynote. We had these wonderful keynote speakers today from MIT, from IARPA, and from London mathematical department. Absolutely amazing blend of mathematics and AI and cybersecurity.
So you could follow along even though you couldn't be physically here.
Yes, it was absolutely fantastic. So I really appreciated the flexibility. I haven't been to the computing conference in person since before COVID, but I've been a regular follower. I've also been out to your San Francisco venue. Some of my students have gone on to your conferences, so they're just always well done, so well organized. So you know, you can't beat the organization of this conference. It's absolutely superb. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Will you be back?
Definitely, a outstanding repertoire. I was looking at the posters and the headlines, and there's so many schools here, you know, famous schools from around the world. So it's a very nice assortment of topics that you don't really, some of them don't fit into traditional, you know, pigeonholes per se. They're spanning new areas, sort of like data visualization that doesn't really fit here or there. And so, you know, it's just a wonderful conference from that perspective. So thank you for keeping that together.
Suzanna, thank you so much.
You're welcome, definitely.